All right, so we're back, man. It's been 2 weeks from uploading on the channel, but we're back. And I'm gonna get straight into the video. You guys know what this video is about. You guys see the title, but before I get into the video, do me a favor, drop a like, drop your comments for sure, because I want to hear y'all thoughts, and make sure you guys subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys get notified anytime I upload a video on the channel. But we're gonna get straight into today's video. So as you guys know, we got coming up on the weekend UFC 288, Aljamain, ALJO Sterling versus Henry the Messenger Cejudo. Now, obviously, Henry Cejudo is coming back from a 3-year layoff, and I'm just gonna break down this fight in its totality. Not a full breakdown, like methodically, like the Weasel, but I'm gonna tell you guys my honest opinion about what's gonna happen in this fight, and I'm just gonna say right away, Aljamain Sterling is going to dominate Henry Cejudo. I know y'all probably think like, what the hell, like what's going on here? Like, I'm an objective guy. Like, if you guys look at my older videos, I've made a video about the TJ versus Aljo fight and how I thought TJ was gonna run through Aljo, because why? Styles make matchups, guys. That's the most important thing. Styles make matchups, and a lot of times, because MMA is kind of a sport of kind of like, what have you done for me lately? Sometimes we kind of get caught up in that, and we, we forget about what's really going on. So what I'm trying to say here is this, right? Henry Cejudo is just going to be too small for Aljamain Sterling. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be absolutely not good enough or anything like that, but he's 5'4", Aljo's 5'7". He fought at flyweight. Aljo can never fight. He can never fight at flyweight. If he tried to fight at flyweight, he would just drain himself and be instantly finished. Kind of like what Henry did to TJ Dillashaw. So we're going to get into that part of it, right? For some odd reason, people are thinking that Henry Cejudo taking a 3-year layoff is the same as John Jones taking a 3-year layoff, and the same as GSP taking a 3-year layoff or 4-year layoff, when in reality it isn't the same at all. John Jones, up to the point that he decided to take a 3-year layoff, was dominant in the light heavyweight division for a long time, got the wins at the the latter part of his light heavyweight career, and then decided to take that break. GSP was dominant at welterweight for years and years and years, and then he had that crazy fight with Johnny Hendricks, where he decided that he's going to take a 4-year layoff, and then he came back and won. So two different stories right there for those guys. When it comes to Henry Cejudo, before Henry Cejudo decided to retire for 3 years, he beat Dominic Cruz, right? His most recent win was Dominic Cruz during that whole pandemic era, UFC 249 in 2020. Not to mention, when Dominic Cruz got that title fight versus Henry Cejudo, he was coming off of a 4-year layoff. His last fight was against Cody Garbrandt, where he got beat up and dominated for basically 5 rounds. He just got picked apart the whole entire fight, and then he comes back and gets a title shot versus Henry Cejudo. Like, that obviously made zero sense. Dominic Cruz did not deserve a title shot. He took 4 years off of a loss, so that it doesn't make sense that he should be able to take 4 years off of a dominant loss and come back to a title shot. And in that fight, yeah, Henry Cejudo did have a smart game plan, kick at the legs, and it worked out. I'm not doubting the smarts of Henry Cejudo, but it's like, come on now, beating Dominic Cruz off of a 4-year layoff when he got dominated, that's not really something that we should be raving about. His previous fight before that was against Marlon Moraes. Now, for this fight right here, I am going to give him credit, but once again, like I said, styles make matchups, and Marlon Moraes is not Aljo, and Aljo is not Marlon Moraes. Those are two different fighting styles. So yeah, shout out to Henry. He was getting his legs beat up badly by Marlon Moraes, and then he was able to hang in there, stay strong, stay tough, and come through and end up finishing Marlon Moraes. He ended up breaking Marlon Moraes. Obviously, the smarts of Henry Cejudo got the better in that fight too. He was just ended up being the better striker, more technical, more sound, because Marlon did cause a lot of damage to Henry, but Henry stuck around and was able to get the victory and become a double champ. Now, the fight before that, this is when he was defending his flyweight title against who? TJ Dillashaw. And yeah, TJ Dillashaw was on EPO, but TJ Dillashaw was also drained, guys. Like, there's a reason why TJ Dillashaw has not fought at flyweight again since 2019, since that flyweight attempt to get that belt, to become a double champ. There's a reason why he hasn't fought back there. If you guys haven't seen any pictures of TJ Dillashaw when he was drained at flyweight, this is how this man looked. Oh, shit! So he was super drained, and it was super obvious that, he wasn't going to be able to take a punch. Anybody that has common sense knows that anytime that you're cutting weight, right, and if you decide to cut too much weight, now your chances of recovery is through the roof, is just out the door, because now your chin's going to be weaker. You're going to be a little bit weaker because the recovery is going to take a lot longer process if you're draining yourself that much more. But yeah, he was on EPO, but EPO doesn't give you plus 200 health to your chin. So just because you're on EPO doesn't mean you're about to go out there and become this absolute juggernaut. Yeah, it'll give you like you'll have more cardio and stuff like that. But TJ Dillashaw did EPOs because he was starting to be anemic, and he couldn't make the weight. He did it to try to make the weight. So obviously it's a banned substance. We know how that goes. But yeah, he got that victory. And then before that, we know what happened. Other flyweight fights he had. A fight against Demetrius Johnson where people thought he lost. It was a split decision victory. He just pretty much laid on Demetrius Johnson on a very boring victory. And then his other 2 victories was against flyweights Sergio Pettis and Wilson Reyes. So it's like, we're really gonna sit here and act like Henry Cejudo is gonna take a 3-year layoff, beating a guy that was on a 4-year layoff, and then just come back and just dominate Aljamain Sterling, who's been in the trenches, who's been fighting at bantamweight against the best bantamweights in the world and actually coming up with the victories. His last fight was against TJ Dillashaw. And once again, guys, I'm an objective person. Styles make matchups. So yes, I did make that video saying that TJ Dillashaw was going to dominate Aljamain Sterling because of their fight styles. And obviously we saw how that fight ended up. TJ had one arm. Clearly Aljo was going to do what he had to do and get the victory. The fight before that, he got the victory against Petr Yan. Everybody was saying Petr Yan was a dominant bantamweight and Aljo has no chance and he's gonna run him over and all these things. And what did Aljo do? Aljo went out there and did his job. He was able to backpack Petr Yan and get control. And guess what? Yes, Petr Yan does have great takedown defense, but guess what happens when you have guys like Aljo? You have guys like Merab. They are chain wrestlers, so they will keep shooting just to throw it out there. It's kind of like what Corey Sandhagen did to Song Yadong in their fight, but the difference is that Aljo is actually a wrestler, so he can get the fight to the ground and actually get that back control, backpack you, possibly submit you. And the issue here is going to be the same way how Aljo was able to shoot 20 plus takedowns attempts on Petr Yan, and he was only able to get 2 of them, but he still was able to get around 8 minutes of control time. So if he was able to get around not even 9 minutes and 30 seconds of control time against Petr Yan, he can very well do the same thing to Henry Cejudo, because I don't want to hear anybody saying that Henry Cejudo is stronger than Petr Yan. Now in the grappling department, it could get be up for debate, but just that much different. Like, Aljo's going to be able to do that with Henry. He's going to be able to throw out volume, reach, and all it takes is one takedown. He just needs one. It's not to say that Aljo's gonna go out there, double leg him, get a single leg, and be this outstanding wrestler. But people are acting like Aljo's not a wrestler himself. Yeah, his takedown accuracy is terrible, but so is Henry Cejudo's. Henry Cejudo has a 33 takedown accuracy. Aljo has 24. So we can't just act like Henry Cejudo is gonna run out there, double leg him instantly, and just be this absolute tank and this absolute monster. That's just not how it's gonna be. Now for Aljo, obviously the fight before the Petr Yan fight where he got the split decision, we saw what happened there. He got dominated. He said what he said. He had an off night, whatever, and he came back and he proved himself. Then he finished Corey Sandhagen. Then after that, he didn't finish. He beat Pedro Munoz. He beat Jimmy Rivera. He beat Cody Stamann, and he beat Brett Johns. They're all ranked fighters. So Aljo's been at bantamweight, beating the best bantamweights in the world, and none of these guys are slouches. Like, Brett Johns is no slouch. Do your research on him. He's no slouch. Cody Stamann, he's no slouch neither. And that was an impressive submission victory that he got over Cody Stamann. Jimmy Rivera, he was ranked highly at that time, was no slouch, in the top 10, in the top 5. Pedro Munoz, same thing, was in the top 10, ranked bantamweight. Corey Sandhagen, do I have to say anything about Corey Sandhagen? And Aljo was able to go out there and blitz him and finish him. Come on, man. And so it's like, I get it. There was definitely an asterisk versus, for Aljo's win against TJ Dillashaw, and the first, obviously, disqualification win versus Petr Yan. But he's been doing his job. Like, I can't sit here and hate on a man for doing his job. And when I look at this fight and I look at the styles of this fight, it's just clear to me that Aljo's going to dominate this fight. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I knew this from day one. Ever since this fight was announced, I kept going back and forth. But when I actually sat and did my research, I was able to understand and come to the understanding that, or figure out and come to the understanding that, yes, Aljo will be able to dominate this fight, win this fight. And it's not like Henry's super accurate on the feet either. It's not like he's out here sniping people and going crazy. He's just a smart fighter. And it's like, there's nothing to take away from him, obviously, because he does what he needs to do. He's a smart fighter. But we're not going to sit here and act like Henry Cejudo went on his dominant run of beating top-ranked guys. The only victory I'll give him credit for is the Marlon Moraes victory, because Marlon Moraes was ranked, I want to say he was ranked #1 at that time. in bantamweight when Henry Cejudo beat him. So that's the the win I'll give him. And I was when Henry decided to go up. But once again, styles make matchups, and Marlon Moraes is not. He is not Aljamain Sterling. I want to say that he is not Aljamain Sterling. I'm not giving Henry Cejudo credit for beating a drawn-out, sucked-out TJ Dillashaw, whether he was on EPOs or not. Henry Cejudo was going to win that fight anyways because TJ was already drained out. So, great job. You beat a guy that was drained out, jumping down in weight. Demetrius Johnson, he just laid on him and got a split decision victory. The same how people want to talk about Aljo winning fights or how he got a split over Petr Yan. Henry did the same thing versus Demetrius Johnson, and a lot of people thought that Demetrius Johnson actually won that fight. There's some split decisions where people are saying, oh, nah, like, that decision makes sense. But that one for Henry, a lot of people are saying, hey, man, I think that Demetrius won the fight. And then to beat flyweights, Sergio Pettis and Wilson Reyes, even if Sergio Pettis might be the bantamweight champion in Bellator right now, like, let's be real here. Like, he's a flyweight in the UFC. He couldn't do anything at bantamweight in the UFC, so we're gonna count it off of that. So I'm just looking at the level of comp, and I do not understand what is going on here. Aljo should have been stuck at a slight favorite. I'm not saying that because I still do respect Henry Cejudo's smarts. It's a fight, anything could happen. He could go out there and kick Aljo in the head off of a miscommunication, takedown or a mistimed takedown like how he did with Moraes and get put to sleep. We know how that goes. It's a fight, but when I look at the styles and matchups between both of these guys, they both can wrestle. None of them is getting super double leg takedowns. And Aljo's just stronger. He's gonna be stronger than Henry Cejudo. He's gonna be bigger. He's gonna be stronger. He has a longer reach advantage. Not to say that Aljo's some type of like super insane technical guy, but he's very smart. He's actually more accurate on the feet in terms of strikes versus Cejudo. And he actually gets hit less than Cejudo. So just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. I'm telling you guys what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Obviously, it's going to be a good fight, but I'm telling you what's going to happen. Aljamain Sterling is going to win the fight. He's going to dominate the fight. You know what I'm saying? And if you can get Henry Cejudo's back, he can finish the fight too, guys. I'm telling you this right now. Henry Cejudo's 36, coming off of a win versus a guy that was on a 4-year break, right? He has only one good win over a number one contender at bantamweight, Marlon Moraes. And we see, and let's not forget what has happened to Marlon Moraes. He has not got a win since he took that loss to Henry Cejudo. He has not got a win since then. So that says a lot about what's going on there. So one can say Henry broke him. Others can say, hey, man, we're going to give him credit for that. But that, that win didn't age well is the best part I can say about it. But that's going to do it for my thoughts on this fight. It's just apparent to me. It's just apparent to me that's how this fight's going to play out. If you guys disagree, y'all can put your money where your mouth is, man. If people are gonna disagree with this or get mad about this or say Aljo's he's a faker, and that's what I've noticed, man. People just don't like Aljo ever since that first Petr Yan fight. I do not care about that. I'm objective. Aljo's last fight, I thought he was going to get dominated. So I call fights based on styles of the matchup styles, whatever you want to say. The styles make matchups. That's how I call fights. I don't call fights emotionally based. So if anybody has a disagreement with this, I would love to hear your comments, obviously. But at the same time, put your money where your mouth is. Go bet on Henry Cejudo if you guys are so sure. For those that are going to be so sure that he's going to win this fight after taking a 3-year layoff, beating a guy that didn't deserve a title shot, Dominic Cruz, who was on a 4-year layoff. If you guys think that he's going to just come through and run through and just dominate, please be my guest and go bet your money on it. Put your money where your mouth is. And that's going to pretty much do it for the video, man. So y'all boys know what to do. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. UFC 288, man, this weekend. We're going to see what happens. Catch you guys in the next video, man. Peace.